Hi everyone, so in this section we're going to do some retouching. We're going to create a creature. So you should have been able to download this file if you want to work along with me. I'm just going to drag all of these into Photoshop. All right, we've got a bunch of these things in here, but the main person start and we're going to use as our basis for recreation is this picture here, the smile guy. Now, before we go forward with this, for whatever reason, the stock photographer that photographed this put it at a weird angle. I guess, this is called Dutching your angles. So if you kind of put things on an angle, it makes it more interesting. So I guess he thought that this guy wasn't interesting. There's another way to make this guy interesting, and that's to completely refurbish him into a creature. But we don't want this kind of angle. It's just going to mess things up for us trying to do things in the future. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use a couple different techniques in Photoshop to get this person squared up. We're going to start off with this tool right here, which is our crop tool. Now you can just crop things down doing this and this. You can see that you get your little lines up to kind of help you with your kind of rule of thirds and stuff like that. But something else you can do is if you go over to the corner here, you notice that you get that little curved arrow that you also get in Free Transform. If I click and rotate, by default, this will allow me to rotate my image and straighten it up. And you can see here that I can kind of find his eyes here. Now, another way of doing this, I'm just going to hit escape, is you can click on this straighten item here and I can literally just run a little line across what should be straightened. That'll do a similar thing here. But for me, I just want to kind of rotate this so that we get it right where I think it needs to be, which is right about here. Now, by default, Photoshop is going to try to also crop out any of the white space. Well, this wouldn't really work for us because we really want to have a lot more here. So I'm going to extend this up. Extend this up to about here. And then down here, we'll just drag it down to about this area here. Once I want to apply my cropping, I just hit enter, or I can click up here. All right, so we've got this. Now we need to get rid of these little white spaces here. And we're going to use something called Contentaware Fill. So what you need to do first is kind of select the area that you want. And I'm going to use the polygonal lasso tool. And I'm just going to click here and click this kind of white area. I'm going to get a little bit of it, what I want in there. All right, and then holding down Shift and the delete key, I'll bring this up. Now, the way that Contentaware works before I hit enter is it's going to kind of look for items around it and kind of make its best guess. Sometimes it works amazingly well. Other times it works horrifyingly bad. And it's really kind of a crapshoot. If there's a lot of texture and there isn't much defined like anatomy or something like that, it's usually really good. So it should do well here because we've got this kind of set background of these bricks here. So we want to make sure that under Contents, it says Contentaware, and then we just hit OK. It's going to take a minute to think about it. My computer is very slow. It should go faster on your computer. And then, bam, if I hit Command D to deselect, you can see this looks really, really good. This worked well. Now, let's do the same down here. I'm just going to zoom out just a little bit so we can see this area. And I'm just going to select this part here. Contentaware Fill also works pretty well if you just get a little bit in there. All right, so same thing, Shift, Delete, hit OK. Once again, depending on the speed of your computer and the size of your image, this may go a lot faster or it might go a lot slower. All right, so we can see here where this can go wrong. If we look, we've got a bizarre tie. You can see it also brings in some of that texture of that tie over here, and it just kind of balloons out. Well, what we can do is we can use our crop tool and get rid of some of that because we don't really need to have any of that there, and maybe even bring this up a little bit. So we've got a little bit of that yucky tie, but not too much. All right, and there we go. You can see down here you still have a little bit of weirdness, but we'll come back to that later. But we've taken our image from this original. We've rotated it and used Contentaware Fill in both sections and cropped it down to make it look a little bit more normalized.